5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Hey, Santa, we're getting a lot of requests for Nebraska Lottery Holiday Classic scratch tickets this year.
Makes sense. Until January 3rd, 2024, players can enter non-winning tickets online for a chance to win 1, 5, 10, or 20,000 bucks.
Yeah, but I built like 1 million wooden trains.
Why do you keep making those?
They're a classic holiday gift.
Oh, trust me, Jingles, there's nothing more classic than cash.
Top prize odds vary by game.
Ready to upgrade your combine with new technology to make your harvest more efficient, meaning more money in your pocket? The team at Landmark Implement is here to help find the right combine for harvest. Plus, when you purchase a pre-owned combine from Landmark, you are backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network, along with mobile techs and parts drop-off points to keep you up and running, reducing downtime. View inventory online at landmarkimp.com or stop by your local Landmark to experience the Landmark difference.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Everything we do, from our jobs to our hobbies, to the stuff that makes us who we are, all of those things come with the tool of the trade. I'm Trooper White of the Nebraska State Patrol. Wearing your seatbelt can reduce your risk of injury by 50% in a crash. So every time you get in a vehicle, remember to use the tool of the trade, your seatbelt. This message presented by the Nebraska State Patrol and the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Old School with DP and J.
We got a special guest in. We got Jason Peters.
All that's being asked of you is everything. Like, you have to give everything that you have to that program, to that team. If you want to be a champion, that's the only way, right? I mean, you have to commit to every lifting session, every strength and conditioning session, during the summer, during the spring, whatever it may be. It just has to be 100% commitment by everybody.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Welcome into The Breeze with DP and Haas on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in to Tick Weekends. I'm Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. Went solo last hour, but for this hour, I'm joined by the host, as always, of The Breeze, Haas Tabrizi. How's it going on this championship Sunday? I could say that. I'm wearing my Husker colors here. But nonetheless, Haas, how's it going, man?
Good. I'm excited for the match at 3 Eastern, 2 Central Time. See if this amazing season that started with, was it 92,000 fans?
Yeah, 92,003. Can't forget about the 3 on there.
92,003 fans with a 30-plus win season. Does it finish with the championship? And so, with the words of Kobe Bryant, the job's not finished. You don't just celebrate a Final Four victory 3 sets to love. You come in and, hey, can you beat a good 2 seed? That's really important. That's where DP is right now, for those of you tuning in, wondering where DP is.
Yeah, he texted me. He's like, "Hey, man, I'm probably not gonna be able to stream in while I'm in the arena." I'm like, "Yeah, I figured. It's all good, man. Enjoy it. If we're lucky, we can maybe get him in on a phone call. I'll see if that's an option. But nonetheless, obviously, shout out to Rico too. He's down there given the ticket some coverage of down there in Tampa. They got there for the Final Four, was there for the Pitt game, and now they're there for the championship game as well, as they get on to take down Texas, which is kind of the surprising one. I don't think a lot of people were expecting Texas. I think you could argue it was going to be a close one, but Texas really dominated, especially in that last set. It looked like Wisconsin just didn't even have a chance. It looked like they almost already gave up. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say any team in the Final Four overlooks a team, but I can see how on the outside it might have looked that way. But are you surprised at all that it's Texas in Nebraska, not Nebraska and Wisconsin?
And it was Wisconsin that had the only win, right?
The only win over Nebraska was Wisconsin towards the end there when Nebraska already had the Big Ten secured.
So maybe they're looking ahead. Maybe they're trying to figure out. I don't know. If you're in the Final Four, you're not looking ahead.
See, that's why I hate that argument. I don't think those teams are overlooking. I would. It'd be hard to imagine a team that made it that far has a habit of looking ahead.
Yeah, no. You're talking to your third and fourth grade teams about, hey, this is the game we're focusing on. So it's pretty basic coaching. I don't know why that rematch was taken away, but hopefully does volleyball cut down nets too? Hopefully there'll be some scissors cutting down the main net.
That's actually a great question. I don't know what they do. If they cut a little chunk of the net for them to take home. Honestly, Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. Let me know where you guys are at. Let me know how you're going to watch the game, what the scene's going to be, because I'm excited. I know for my setup, we're going to have two TVs. The worst part about this is Nebraska basketball is playing Kansas State at the exact same time. So, solution, get two screens. Volleyball, big screen, of course. And then on a smaller screen, get the Nebraska basketball game on there as well. But as I said, 402-464-5685. Let me know how you guys are watching the game, what you expect, what you hope to see happen, and just any of your excitement, especially with the Husker news as of lately. It's been hectic over here, Haas. Usually I'm here for Ticket Weeknights, which starts at 6 p.m. We're not necessarily the groundbreaking hours of radio. And it's about 3 days in a row here, tipping off with like the Almond Green show in the mornings, where it's just been breaking news after breaking news after breaking news. And one of that happened today is Kyle McCord. He is committed to Syracuse, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. I think you kind of, once he reopened up his commitment, it was looking at Syracuse. I think that one made sense. So he's out. Raiola still in the mix. I doubt he commits today. I mean, would that be a bad look if Raiola decided to commit today, if he did decide to be Husker? Or is that just perfect? Like, Huskers maybe get a win and we get Dylan Raiola.
I mean, I imagine Otani waited to see if he was respecting everyone else when he made his decision. He was just looking at what else was going on. The kind of person Otani is, he's just like, all right, I'm not stealing anyone's thunder. I'm not pulling a LeBron where I'm going to say I'm probably going to retire now after getting swept by Denver. Come on.
That was the worst. I'm glad you brought that up. I almost forgot about that completely. That LeBron take was the worst. He's had a few bad moments, and there's times where like he needs to have conversations with his agents. When he had the idea to, when he opened up free agency with the hats, worst PR move. It's like, hey, let's set up this event so you can give the middle finger to your entire fan base. Like, I didn't see that working out any other way unless he did it, while he's in. It was just bad as a start. I mean, that whole LeBron thing. But yeah, it will be interesting if we can grab Dylan Raiola today, but we might not find out until Wednesday. That's the real deadline when we'll know by Wednesday 100% which way he's going here. But it would be incredible if you could land him, do a lot of work for the rest of the recruiting pitch. I mean, you get the number one recruit in the country for the 2024 class. Pretty easy to start talking to those 2024 class wide receivers, tight ends, other skill position groups that are going to be playing alongside with him. But I'm on a ramble here. There's so many things to talk about, Haas. Where do you want to start?
So I want to say something about wrestling real quick, just because we tend to shy away from it when DP's not here.
Mm-hmm.
So Roman Reigns was on SmackDown for the first time in a long time, and I actually didn't care. It was weird. I just didn't care. The amount of heat that he gets right now, when he hasn't shown up in a while, I feel like if Brock Lesnar showed up and he hasn't been there in a while, there would be a lot more heat.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't that much noise from the crowd. So check this. Dom Mysterio might get the most heat in WWE. Dom Mysterio, who they're trying to have him talk less just because he's getting booed so much when he gets on the mic, has more heat than Roman Reigns. And that is very confusing to me. So there are ways to fix this. There are ways to make this better. You can involve, whenever you involve CM Punk with him, whenever you involve Cody Rhodes, whenever you involve The Rock with Roman Reigns. I know right now it just doesn't make sense. Wait, Randy Orton is involved with him, and he's been gone for 18 months, and it still wasn't that exciting. And
Where do
so
you think? Where's the story gone south for Reigns? Like, where did the buzz just drop completely? I shouldn't say completely, but a lot, where it completely went to the negative direction. Because just not that long ago, I felt like you were talking him up, like, oh, we've got a good story arc here, and now it feels like he's on the other side completely.
So it's probably NWO-esque, where the bloodline was just shoved down everyone's throats so much. Like the NWO was shoved down everyone's throats so much that the NWO just became boring after a while. And it took 3-4 years for that to happen. So I don't know if that's what's happening with the bloodline. I don't know if it's slowing down a little bit to pick it back up for WrestleMania season and waiting for the storylines for the Royal Rumble. Will Solo turn heel and become bad? He did just say, Roman Reigns just said that Solo is the future tribal chief for the bloodline. So that in itself is a story, but they're holding off the brothers, the twin brothers, Jimmy and Jay, fighting. So just having things and building for WrestleMania, but you have an opportunity with Randy Orton, and I just wasn't that excited. For the Royal Rumble, I don't know if I'm going to really care about Randy Orton and Roman Reigns. And that, to me, is a miss by WWE.
We do have Unknown Texter chiming in. He said it jumped the shark with the Usos splitting.
And so the stories that they had with them, like keeping Jay on SmackDown, could have had some more bloodline stories. It's just getting beat up every week there for Jimmy and Solo. That's probably what just took the air out of the balloon. So it's just they're not that good anymore. So I don't know. Do they need to turn Roman to face, make him a good guy? I don't know.
What are some of your solutions? Because I asked you, where you thought the downfall, and you said you had a couple ideas. Well, how can you fix this? Because the buzz right now is non-existent for him.
So with the lack of buzz, I think once the new year hits, there's a couple pay-per-views before WrestleMania. So you don't want to give the big ticket item away before WrestleMania. So that's part of it. So maybe it's a slow play, and DP's talks about how you map out wrestling 12 to 15 months out. Does CM Punk his comeback come and change the plan? Because CM Punk could easily fight Roman Reigns and say it's not for the belt, it's for Paul Heyman. So that's a story that I would watch. Winner gets Paul Heyman. You can make it a triple threat with Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns, and the winner gets Paul Heyman.
Okay.
So Roman should lose the belts at WrestleMania. Cody should finally get his belt that his father couldn't get anymore. So that's how you end Sunday's WrestleMania in Philadelphia at WrestleMania 40. Cody's holding the belt. Roman Reigns is upset. You don't have a cash in. Don't involve anyone else. And assuming you can't get The Rock, Cody wins. Roman goes away for a little bit. Then at SummerSlam, Roman comes back, and we have that triple threat with Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, and maybe you put Paul Heyman in a cage above the ring, and the winner gets him.
I'm watching that. If that's the case, if he's just positioned above the cage, waiting to see who comes out.
Because historically speaking, CM Punk doesn't need a Paul Heyman to speak for him because he's the best person on the mic. But if he's there in his corner, it's still really cool because he is a Paul Heyman guy, and he's one of the original Paul Heyman guys, and Paul Heyman helped him in ECW, helped push him to where he finally got in 2011. So that in itself would be a nice storyline. Brock Lesnar was at his peak with Paul Heyman, if we all remember The Undertaker and the spoiler, not a prediction, but a spoiler. that it's going to be 21-1. That was all Paul Heyman coming out every week and just saying what exactly was going to happen. Like he was holding off, here's the NFL script, just reading off the NFL script in week 14, the following is going to happen. Well, he was reading off what was going to happen in wrestling. And he'd be like, all your faces are going to be stunned. You're going to be F5 after F5 after F5. And then Brock Lesnar, the Beast Incarnate, will be the one in 21-1. And it happened. Probably because wrestling's scripted, whatever.
Scripted but off scripted at the same
Still
time.
happened. Still made me want to listen to him.
Yeah, that's always incredible. That's the one thing when it comes to those writing those scripts is it's incredible how far they write those out. How often do you think those things are? You get a call from one of the McMahons and they're in there reworking the entire next 6 months. So I hear those writing rooms. It's kind of horror stories hearing a lot of those writers that come from those wrestling scripts. That's a lot of work they put into those. How often do they actually switch those up on the fly, you think?
So someone like a Vince McMahon, who's an alpha, who micromanages, who has all these visions, who's been right a lot of times, who has the golden touch, but also lately might not be in tune with the fans, he might go and just feel something and be like, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not going to do that. And so things will change. I don't know with Daniel Bryan how long it took for them to admit that Daniel Bryan should win WrestleMania 30, but for the longest time, they were burying Daniel Bryan. For the longest time, a wrestler had to look a certain way. They couldn't look like CM Punk. They couldn't look like Daniel Bryan. They had to look like Hulk Hogan. They had to look like the Ultimate Warrior and Randy Orton and John Cena and Triple H. Just be bodybuilders. And so with the evolution that CM Punk created, a champion that was 5'11", 205 pounds was allowed in WWE. So then the fan favorite could become that. The crowd could dictate who they want. So after Daniel Bryan, I remember Kofi Kingston becoming a champion because the crowd wanted it. Kofi Kingston is really small. Kofi Kingston doesn't look like a typical wrestler. And well, since then, LA Knight isn't their quote-unquote typical wrestler. He might be the right size, but he's older. So why are we going to bring in someone who hasn't been in WWE, who's older, who was a manager, is what they brought him in as at first. They brought him in as a manager for male models. That was his storyline. And so since then, he became a fan favorite. So I think the evolution for the McMahons and probably most likely Triple H is if the fans want it, then we're going to give it to them.
Yeah, I just have a hard time thinking that the McMahons are. He's still not all over that thing. For how much he just doesn't look like he'd ever be able to put it down. Like that is his baby. We talk about it all the time. I wasn't in that glory age, but I was young enough when it was still pretty prevalent. Where pay-per-view Monday, every single Monday night, everyone was watching that TV. Everyone was going to watch those matches. I mean, it took over. You can look up the numbers; they're still there for anyone curious. Like, there's no question, it dominated in that era. It was something that everyone was watching and talking about. It's just built it up to be such a spectacular product that I just have a hard time believing that he's ever not going to have his input on there until he goes to the grave. Which he does have that golden touch. There's no denying that. At times where that's why you hear those stories about those writing rooms, how frustrating it could be for a lot of those writers that do actually speak out about it. But that's why you got paid a lot as well, because you're going to be working those deadlines around McMahon, who's always conjuring up that perfect story. We do have another one here. Never mind. I guess X has a new feature. It's not comments. It just tells me when people have joined. So shout out to the 2 people I've joined through Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Great way to put a face through those. And again, Starter Heyman text line. We'd have unknown texter. I said Jimmy turning on Roman only to rejoin was when I was out. Haas, what are your thoughts on that?
It was a soap opera for a while. Is Sammy good or bad? Is Jay good or bad? Is Jimmy good or bad? I'm gonna go to AEW. It's like, all right, just make up your mind. Like, there was a little too much there. The thing that came to mind in the last minute or two when you talked about Vince McMahon and I said his golden touch and him being a little Yeah, you didn't allude to it, but he's a little older and he's been doing it for so long.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Bill Belichick. It's like Coach K. So there's people that are and Mike Tomlin's not that old. Mike Tomlin's actually young, but he's been there for so long that people second guess these legends, and they're like, "Sorry, you're not with it anymore." And so, well, Belichick didn't draft well, and Belichick didn't evaluate well, and so on and so forth, and he was only good because of Brady, and okay, Coach K wasn't with it anymore, and Duke hasn't won a championship in 6-7 years, and with Tomlin, they haven't won a playoff game in 7-8 years, so these guys all got to go, and it's like, new blood is good. However, the information that the old blood forgets is more than the new blood. So that's one. The new blood should be there to not be a yes man and provide value and show things. But if the old blood who's seen things for such a long time and has seen the history, then they should be listened to. It's kind of like the stock market. If you started investing in 2009 and you invested from 2009 to 2020, then you're like, I'm the greatest individual investor in the world because I just picked these stocks and I didn't touch it and my money grew a lot. Well, the market grew a lot in those 11 years. You didn't do anything. You didn't experience a decline. You didn't experience the adversity or the friction. And so the mistakes that are made by an individual investor during the adversity and friction, that's where the experience matters. The experience comes in and says, it's all good. The refs made all these bad calls. It's all good. The market's down 40%. Don't touch it. Buy more. Well, same thing in the games. It's like, okay, it's 28-3. It's fine. It's not that big of a lead.
We're seeing that a lot now. It's going to be interesting. I'm glad you brought up Bill Belichick because this Patriot fans got to be careful about the media in general, how they're talking about Bill Belichick. I'm like, it wasn't just Tom Brady. All right. Like we can't, to me, that is insanity to say it was all Tom Brady. Yes, Tom Brady was a major factor, him going to Tampa and immediately winning the Super Bowl in Tampa. That was pretty indicative that he was a big part of it. But the Bill Belichick hate is out of control. You can critique his drafts in the past, but if you want to be realistic, you can do that to just about every coach out there in the NFL. Bill Belichick's always just highlighted to an extreme level, but by no means is he the worst at it. It's just been pretty unfortunate few years for him in the drafts. But then just talking about what you're saying, like, who would replace him? You know, you would have to bring back in the OC to take over in McDaniels and just rerun the whole thing, because you don't want to get too far away from what you said, the quote unquote old blood, because I feel like if they just try to change it up, I mean, the Patriots, New England isn't your hot spot where all the greatest, free agents want to necessarily play in either. They want to go there because they're going to win. So if you try to start up something new and Bill Belichick isn't there, now you're dealing with finding your identity again. Because again, I'm going to stress that New England isn't a flashy place to play. It's only been that way because of Bill Belichick and the run he's had. So they got a lot of problems. I would think it's a horrible mistake to get rid of Bill Belichick here. But we do got to throw it to break here, Haas. What do you want to tee up here for the next segment?
I'm going to say this real quick. With the roster that the Bucks had when they won the Super Bowl, they could have had this year's Brock Purdy and won the Super Bowl.
Oh, hands down. That defense clobbered the Chiefs. Like that, so, we all remember that Super Bowl, I think. Like the defense
31-9 and Mahomes looked like he was going to get murdered, and that's why they drafted such a big line every year. So give it like 30 seconds before we go to break. If you're going to keep saying Brady was so good, Brady had a defense in all of his Super Bowls. Brady had a defense.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't, when he went to Tampa Bay, he had 3 receivers. One of them has CTE issues, but he had really good wide receivers. So, yeah, okay. Tom Brady's good. He was won a lot of Super Bowls, whether he deflated balls or not. He always had a defense.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. And speaking of that defense, that's something that Bill Belichick always have with that roster. If you just fix the offensive side of the ball, no one would be talking about the Patriots the way they are this year. I mean, defensively, for the most part, they've held up really well all year long. Like, it's been one of the more you'd probably go with the Browns defense, Steelers defense, and then you probably throw Patriots, at least top 5 defenses, the way they've been playing week in, week out. But nonetheless, I think it's a mistake as well. But we got to throw the break here on The Breeze. I'm Harrison. We got Haas streaming in as always, the host of the show. You guys can always join in through Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Allo channel 951. The stream numbers are up. That's great. If we have any breaking news, I'll be checking my Twitter actively to see if I can drop it for you guys. But nonetheless, we'll throw the break here. Talk to you guys on the other side.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
This is Brian at Midwest Bank, and we've been proudly serving clients in the Lincoln community since 2008, and we're excited to open a second location in January 2024 at 70th and Pioneers Boulevard. Our new branch will provide all the convenient services you're looking for in a bank, along with the friendly staff we're known for. Whether you're starting a business or expanding your business, our team is here for you, your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com, member FDIC.
When you think of places with tons of great beer selections and amazing food menu in Omaha, the conversation should start and end with Bärschen Beer Garden in Benson. With more than 30 beers on tap, including several German options, you're sure to find something you like. And don't forget their Nashville hot chicken sandwich or any of their delicious hamburgers. Start off with the warm house-made pretzels and you're on to a great day at Bärschen Beer Garden in the heart of Benson in Omaha.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Tune in to the Malone Radio Show from 9 to 10 p.m. every Sunday night to learn more about the Malone Center's goal to eliminate multi-generational poverty in Lincoln. It's the Malone Radio Show every Sunday night from 9 to 10 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today, with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
At Ascend Aesthetics, they understand that you want results and you want them fast. That's why they've developed the fastest weight loss and body toning programs that are clinically proven to shed extra fat, boost muscle mass, and tighten skin without having to spend hours at the gym. Reveal your leaner physique, ignite your testosterone levels, and boost your energy with personalized plans tailored to your goals. Learn more at slimdowne.com or call 402-480-6680. Ascend Aesthetics, where transformation begins. Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Yeah, it was about 3 or 4 o'clock, 4:30. I want to say the news broke that Kyle McCord was out on
That's it.
Nebraska.
It's interesting, fascinating to me. I thought they could get them both. I thought they're going to, and I know Bill's right. It'd be remarkable. Somebody tweeted to me, Sipple's not that remarkable. They had Crouch and Newcomb. Well, Newcomb moved positions right away, pretty much right away. Went to receiver.
That was the team that also was national championship level.
Yeah.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
You're listening to The Breeze with DP and Haas on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into The Breeze on this Sunday afternoon as we are just about an hour and a half away Central Time from Nebraska volleyball. Kicking off here, I should say serving off here for the national championship game. We do have the watch party at the Devaney. I know Dylan Raiola has been spotted there. He is in attendance, so, more recruiting news there. He's still around the Lincoln area. No surprises there. No commitment from him nonetheless. And again, if you guys want to join the show, if you got any breaking news here, as it seems to kind of just be the theme throughout the entire week, 402-464-5685. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo channel 951, streaming on all those platforms as well. But Haas, where do you want to go with the next?
I got a text from Raiola that said when the women win the championship, he will sign with Nebraska.
Okay, good. I knew you were in tight with him. That's good to know.
Yeah.
So put our Husker fans at ease. So we just got to win today. And then did he say anything if well, no, we'll win. I'm not even going to put that in the air. Horns down. I got to be careful. I can get fined for that one, as we've seen before.
Okay, Nebraska, relax.
Text line just started blowing up now.
Today on The Breeze, Raiola said he'd sign when Nebraska wins. Okay, no. So there's so much going on in sports. We can talk about football. We can talk about baseball. We can talk about basketball.
Talk about Michigan State. That was a surprising turnaround. My Lord. They beat the number 6 Baylor team in the country after.
Talk about college basketball.
All right, just tell me where you want to go with it. It just means a lot for Nebraska fans. All right, that's where it's at, because we're looking at Michigan State, struggling program. We got to win over them. Good. That's what we should have done if they're not that great this year. But they went on to go beat number 6 Baylor. So it was like, okay, that could be a good win we could look on to in the future there. Nonetheless,
how many wins does Nebraska need in the regular season to be an automatic, quote unquote, automatic at large?
It's pretty much, so you want to get to roughly around 500 in conference play. The non-conference record, you definitely want to be above 500 overall, but really it comes down to Big Ten conference play. Can you be sustained 500 or better, be above 500? Typically, you got a good shot of getting in there every single year.
Trying to see, like, there's so many teams last year that made it in the Big Ten, but there's 2 or 3 that didn't, that we expected. So I don't know. Next year with all those teams, like 14 have to make it.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's just super mega conference at this point. It's gonna be, at least that's the thing with basketball though, where with the I feel like in basketball those Power 5s don't hold nearly as much power. Like, you can see it with smaller groups. You only need 5 good players, and you can roll out a hell of a squad out there. The St. Peter's Peacocks is always going to be a great example, or even I don't want to blank on the university, but I know they're the Golden Retrievers. They beat Virginia when they were the 1 seed.
UMBC.
Yep, thank you. That was the other one. So every time
University of Maryland, Baltimore County.
Yep. And you see those smaller schools make runs. Loyola, Chicago, they're pretty consistently making deep runs. So when it comes to adding in this bigger pool in the Big Ten that we're going to have, yes, it gives you a little more credibility. But at the same time, when it comes to the tournament, like you don't necessarily need, as we've seen, you don't need to come from a Power 5 conference to knock out some of those other good teams, quote unquote good teams, especially now in recent history. We're seeing a lot of these smaller schools, James Madison, who happened to upset Michigan State in their season opener, have really good seasons and just play good basketball. So that is going to be a factor, but it's also, we're at a point where I think you have to get it together because these smaller schools are showing year in, year out that they compete. So just because you are in a Power 5, just because you are 500, like it might get to a point where that's just not enough anymore, where like you have to be more than just 500. You got to be well above 500 because these smaller schools, we're going to take them, we're going to get their bid in over you because they've consistently been winning out games in a bigger fashion. So it could be interesting, but yeah, when it comes to the Big Ten, it's probably going to be your Michigan State. We'll see if they can continue to pick up the steam after winning. It'll be Wisconsin. I know they have 3 losses right now, but they're all against really tough opponents. You're looking at Illinois, Ohio State, a bit of surprise there. Iowa, surprisingly bad this year. I think most people thought they were going to be great, but they're really struggling. But again, it's going to be an interesting year for the Big Ten nonetheless to see how it shakes out because Nebraska basketball, we'll see. They're rolling right now with a big win over Michigan State. If they can get another one at 2 o'clock today over Kansas State, that's a good Kansas State team too. So that's going to matter a lot. That's going to be a quad 2 win. It's looking good for Nebraska. But to your point, to answer real quick, it's going to be a mess next year with all the extra teams in there. You still want to be above 500 because you're definitely not getting, even if you are just 500 next season, that's probably not enough. Like you're going to have to be top quarter of the Big Ten, I would imagine, if you want a shot at the tournament.
So there's 8 teams that made it last year, and it looks like 8 teams made it the last 4 years from the Big Ten. With 14 teams there, getting more than half, it's pretty good. Last year, it was Maryland, Illinois, Indiana.
What was the worst record, do you know? Let me just pull up the Big Ten standings last year, and I can find it for you quick.
I feel like there was a team that had a below 500 that made it. So again, it was Maryland, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan State, Northwestern, who's playing well again this year, Penn State, and Purdue. And Purdue's just going to be at the top with who they have on their team. So,
oh my God, they just bullied Arizona yesterday too. That's another game where, who was you said, okay, I'm looking at the schedules from last year. And of course,
the worst team to make it was Penn State.
So they got in, so exactly at 10-10. So you have to basically, that 500 is your cutoff. Rutgers was 10-10. They're left out. Everyone else was 9-11.
And Rutgers was like a lock for everyone last year.
Yep.
So I remember that. And then Illinois was a 9 seed. What was their record?
11-9, 20-13 overall.
Maryland and Iowa?
Maryland and Iowa, same thing. 11-9 conference play, 19-14 overall for Iowa, 20-13 overall for Illinois.
It's really hard to see a 14-loss team make the NCAA tournament just because of the parity in the tournament. Just because, as you said, there's St. Peter's, the UMBCs, now the JMUs. There's so many teams. Loyola.
Mm-hmm.
Loyola. I wonder if what's her name?
Sorry, my headset's cracking out a little bit there. Say that again.
The nun for the Chicago school, Loyola, Sister Jean.
Sister Jean, yes.
yeah. Hopefully she's still alive.
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't know. I don't want to say anything because I'm not sure.
So, with schools being that good, having 14 losses used to be like an absolute no.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I think that's kind of my point is, like, I think we'll get to a point where they unless it's just purely about money, could just be a money thing where you get the big money schools in there. Obviously, you're going to get more viewer base, more people are going to watch it if you get those teams in there. So I think that's always going to have a play. It's ignorant to say that money is never going to be factored into it. But I do think that in years to come, especially next year, you're adding all these teams. Yeah, if you're 14 losses in the Big Ten, you're not getting in. In my eyes, I don't think you deserve a
14
spot
losses overall. 14 losses overall.
Yeah, not in the Big Ten. I misspoke there, but 14 overall losses. And they just 10-10. I think, what was I? Let me double check here. Yeah, 11-9, just scraping 2 games above the winning percentage, or 2 games above 500 in conference play.
But that's the only reason why they made it, having 14 losses and being 2 games over 500 in the Big Ten. I mean, this year, Michigan just getting their coach back and getting over 500 with their last 2 wins. Michigan's always been a good team. So the Big Ten play is going to really determine things. With Nebraska being 8-2, it's exciting, but it's early. It's early. So
where do you rank Big Ten basketball out of the conferences? If you had to give it to Big Ten, like, okay, this conference, their basketball, like, they're typically X better than these other conferences.
So it always was the ACC, and last year the ACC, the highest team got a 4 seed. So the ACC is no longer the best. UNC is a 9, ranked 9th in the country right now. Let's see, Clemson's 13th, and Duke is 21st. UVA is 22nd. So, and then Miami's 24th. Miami was a Final Four team last year, if I remember correctly. So
yeah, they were.
I wouldn't sleep on the ACC. Arizona's number 1. Do we even talk about that conference anymore? Is it still a conference? Like,
it's something of the sort. Teams in there, but I don't know what to call it.
The Big 12 always has Kansas, it has Texas, it has teams that go to the Final Four. So Baylor, like Purdue hasn't been that successful in the tournament.
That's the worst part for the Big Ten. It's like, that's why I always worry about like this Big Ten credibility, because the Big Ten teams have been underperforming year in, year out. Michigan State's Tom Izzo team is the one team that typically we can rely on to give the Big Ten a good name. Iowa's kind of, when they had Garza, they were all right. They made a nice little run. But for the most part, most of these Big Ten teams are pretty disappointing exits early. Purdue being a key example. I mean, Purdue just beat number 1 Arizona last night. I shouldn't say last night, yesterday in the evening. And that was a team that, for the most part, consisted of a lot of the same guys. But that's also the same team that loses consistently to bad teams, whether it's round 1 or they get an easy game again, well, quote unquote, easy game against the St. Peter's Peacocks. They can't quite hold on to that one either. So the Big Ten's image in March Madness has been, in my eyes, already on a downward trajectory. Now you're adding in all these teams. We just talked about it. I don't think if you're 2 games just above 500 in a conference play, if you have 14 losses overall, is good enough to get you in. So I think for the Big Ten, even if it's not Nebraska, we just need some Big Ten teams to go in there and actually make some noise, make some deeper runs than what they have been showing. We do have a man named Ashley said, I don't know that the committee will give the Big Ten benefit of the doubt this year to get 8 in. I've seen the Big Ten is weak headlines. Nebraska had Miles' team that was number 4 in the Big Ten regular season and didn't get 1 in. So again, kind of talking about it. I think a lot of people are talking about the Big Ten being weak this year. Purdue's probably the strongest. Well, obviously Purdue is the strongest team, but you get a team like Northwestern coming in there and beating them. So you start thinking the Big Ten's weak, but then here comes Purdue beating number 1 Arizona. So it's kind of always been a Big Ten, whether they cannibalize themselves to the point where nobody thinks they're good, or if their basketball just actually isn't up to par. Which one's more likely?
So hold on a second real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Big East, Mountain West, ACC, Conference USA. UConn, San Diego State, Miami, Florida Atlantic. That was the Final Four last year. Tell me when you hear a Big Ten team.
Oh, God, this is going to be a painful. Keep going.
Villanova, Duke, North Carolina, Kansas. So Big East, 2 ACC teams in Big 12. That's 2022. 2021, Baylor. I'll do champ then finalist. Baylor and Gonzaga. So Big 12 and WCC. Houston and UCLA. So American and Pac-12. COVID. So no basketball in 2020. UVA, Texas Tech. So ACC, Big 12. Auburn, Michigan State.
Hey, Michigan State. There it is. I told you, it's always Tom Izzo. Tom Izzo is the only guy that consistently represents the Big Ten.
And
It's
so
been
that
that
was
way.
in 2019. So that was without it. They weren't in the championship game. Now, the year before, championship representative, Villanova, Big East, Michigan, Big Ten, Kansas, and Loyola.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going back. There still wasn't a championship game representative because it was UNC Gonzaga,
You have to go
Villanova,
to
North
Wisconsin.
Carolina,
I think Frank the Tank. Frank Kaminsky's got to be the next one.
Duke, Wisconsin, 2015. So
Yeah.
hasn't had a representative since 2015. So I think there should be some bias in Nebraska fans. I'm sorry, but the success in the tournament matters. So when people get upset about the SEC and football, well, it's because you always put two teams in there. That's why the odds are, well, if one of them wins, then they're going to be in the championship game. No, they're just that much better in their conference. And so the style of play in the Big Ten might punish teams in the regular season, but it's not a tournament style of play. So the tournament style of play, when Mason made the Final Four, they had veterans that could shoot, and they played defense. So if you have veterans that could shoot from the outside and play defense, then you can play really well in the tournament. If you don't have veterans and you have people that can't handle the ball, then in the tournament, you will lose the ball and you'll lose the games. So having the physical, the big, the offensive lineman type players that the Big Ten has in basketball works really well when you want to beat up a team 3 times in a year. But if you're going to play against fast teams that can run, say, from out west or down south, then that's probably why they're not so successful in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and I agree with you there. There's something about it's. I don't even know if I want to go that far to say it's style, because so much of the basketball style today just feels like it's kind of losing that. Like, yes, there's still little differences, but for the most part, when I switch conferences and I'm watching college basketball, I don't see the dramatic shifts like I used to. So I think partially that's true, but I do think that's becoming less and less. I think it's just not as many good teams, just thin, flat out. Obviously, Purdue being good. Purdue's one that I can't put my finger on, because even though, yes, they're playing through Zach Edey, that is still conducive in the tournament. You can still play through Edey. When you have the #1 center in college basketball, it should translate regardless. To your point, the problem was with that roster was the ball handling was bad. The 3-point shooting was bad. That's just a Purdue problem. They fixed that this year, and I think that's why if they do make it to the run, or they do get another run in the champion or the March Madness, I would be surprised if they take another early exit, because this team this year seems like they got a lot better 3-point shooting, a lot better ball handling. But we'll see. You know, if they try to grind it out style and it does look like a Big Ten game, probably don't feel good about them winning it, especially when the pressure gets really tight in stressful situations. You guards, you have to start pick up pace of play, not necessarily Big Ten-esque, but I do think the styles are starting to go away a little bit as the game just becomes essentially positionless in all the leagues. But nonetheless, we do got to throw at the break here on The Breeze. I'm Harrison on the 1s and 2. Host is always Haas streaming in. If we're lucky here, we'll see if we can get DP to call in here, but no promises. Curious to what the vibe is down in Tampa. The video footage is insane. I don't know if you've checked it out on the break sauce, but it is all red down there, not Tampa red. It is Husker red, and they've completely taken over what looks like to be the championship venue. But nonetheless, we'll throw it to break here. Don't go anywhere. We got one more segment up next.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today, with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Ready to upgrade your combine with new technology to make your harvest more efficient, meaning more money in your pocket? The team at Landmark Implement is here to help find the right combine for harvest. Plus, when you purchase a pre-owned combine from Landmark, you are backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network, along with mobile techs and parts drop-off points to keep you up and running, reducing downtime. View inventory online at landmarkimp.com or stop by your local Landmark to experience the Landmark difference.
When it comes to joining the Nebraska Army National Guard, you've heard it all before. College, healthcare, signing bonus. But joining is so much more than that. It's setting yourself up for a new and better chapter of your life. I'm Staff Sergeant Paul White, and because of the Nebraska Army National Guard, I'm in control of my career. And when the workday ends, I get to come home to my family. Write your next chapter by joining the Nebraska Army National Guard. For more information, schedule a meeting with me, Staff Sergeant Paul White at nationalguard.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning. Now in our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Everything we do, from our jobs to our hobbies, to the stuff that makes us who we are, all of those things come with the tool of the trade. I'm Trooper White of the Nebraska State Patrol. Wearing your seatbelt can reduce your risk of injury by 50% in a crash. So every time you get in a vehicle, remember to use the tool of the trade, your seatbelt. This message presented by the Nebraska State Patrol and the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
You're listening to The Breeze with DP and Haas on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in to The Breeze. I'm Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. We got the host, as always, Haas, streaming in. And, of course, we're about just 1 hour away before Nebraska volleyball takes on Texas in the championship. So, again, plenty of things to talk about. You guys have been great all morning long throughout the evening. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo channel 951. Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. Haas, we got a little bit of time left here before we throw it. And real quick programming note for this next hour for all those listening, we will be throwing it to National just to get some equipment worked on here. But after that, for the next hour, we'll be back on regular programming, and we'll talk to you throughout the rest of this Sunday.
So let's rapid fire for the 3-4 minutes that are left. I'm going to just throw, it's going to be from random sports, things that's happened in the last week or should hopefully happen in the next week. Putting you on the spot, no preparation. No preparation, putting you on the spot, just throwing things at you.
Okay,
so,
I'm ready.
All right. Where will Raiola sign?
Nebraska.
Who's the biggest competition to that?
Georgia, if they come calling back.
All right. With the offsides call in the Kansas City game, who messed up on that play?
Oh, that's a good question. Tony. You got to know what you're doing. That wasn't the first time. That happened multiple times throughout the night. Yes, the refs maybe should have said, hey, you're offsides. Which, by the way, you don't get warnings for that. That's not a thing that refs give you warnings for. I've never seen a ref give a warning for offsides. That's usually just a call that they throw. You don't. So that one always kind of blew my mind. Like, yes, you use your arms as a receiver. Am I on or off? But if you're offsides, you don't get a warning for that. You're just offsides. That's a flag. So I thought that's all Chiefs. Like, I thought that was the worst moment I've seen Mahomes. I like Mahomes. I think he's a really good guy, but I thought he handled that one thing poorly.
I mean, with what I've seen before, I have seen refs be like back up or whatever to a receiver. And with how upset Mahomes was, like, to be like a warning would have been nice. I'm not so sure what happens on every play, but yeah, Tony, fine. Don't be there. Don't be there. And the irony of it with last night with the Denver center, the center's helmet might have been a little bit over.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on.
Well, especially when we're thinking about the Chiefs, how many moments can we collect that's been fortunate that they got the right call? Like, come on. You got one call that went the wrong way one time, and you are that open in public about how upset, how awful the officiating was. I'm like, they could have called that on you like 10 more times if they wanted to, but okay. I thought I just wasn't a good take from Mahomes. Still a great quarterback. I like I'm not going to get digs at him, but I thought it was ridiculous, the kind of how flamboyant they were about how upset and everything it was. But I thought it was definitely their fault, not the refs.
Opposing fan bases will easily say the refs and the Chiefs have won 2 Super Bowls for Mahomes. So, all right. Ohtani. Who else, or if you were a star, are you okay with being the 5th or 6th best player on the Dodgers? Or do you want to go somewhere else and not win a championship?
5th or 6th, I don't care. Give me the Ohtani experience. I think if you bring that in, I'm looking to win. And no one cares if you're the 5th, 6th, or 7th guy if you're on the winning team.
So what's crazy about the Dodgers?
Kyrie cares.
and so with baseball, with the lack of a salary cap, with just taxes and penalties, and you lose a draft pick, it goes down 10 picks, which Andrew Friedman for the Dodgers, the vice president, he really likes draft picks with how he was in Tampa Bay. So it is a penalty. It stinks. But if you could just go send Ohtani and Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts and Will Smith and say, go pitch to this guy and tell him to come sign with the Dodgers. Or have some old Kobe video saying, hey, I need you to be a Dodger. Did you hear that? Like Kobe had a video to Ohtani
No, wait, what?
There was a pitch way back like 3-4 years ago from Kobe Bryant that said, you are the kind of person that should be a Dodger. And they played him that video when he was in LA.
I mean, come on, that's unfair. He's gonna sign with the Dodgers. That's incredible. When they dug that one up, it's like, we got him. It's over. We got everything we need.
I wish I saw it, but I'm sure the wording is like, there's only a certain person that could be the leader of LA, and you are the next one.
Dang. That's as good as words you can get from one of the legends. And Kobe, that is his city. That's his city. So to get those words, that's pretty incredible. You got any more rapid fire ones?
Who is more annoying right now, the Eagles or the Cowboys?
Oh man, I got some recent history. Give me the Cowboys. We got Bigger Than the Score every morning with Pete Ferguson, big Cowboys fan, who, by the way, wore blue to a Husker volleyball game to support his Cowboys. So,
Sorry, I'm wearing blue. This was from coaching AAU. I didn't have a chance to change my shirt.
You're not at Bob Devaney watching a Husker volleyball team. That's probably, you're at your own house. That's fine. It was at the game where the blue Dallas Cowboys sweatshirt. So Cowboys, hands down. Haas, what about you? Eagles, Cowboys.
They're both really annoying, but to say Dak Prescott is the MVP right now is ridiculous. The Cowboys are going to be a 5 seed, and to say that they have the MVP, come on, stop it.
We can end on that. That's a perfect way to wrap things up here on Ticket Weekends. Again, we're going to take a quick hour for some maintenance, but nonetheless, we'll be back with you at the 2 o'clock hour. Don't go anywhere here on Ticket Weekends.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The Electrical Workers of Local Union 200